warm welcome. Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's session of UiPath Agent Tech India Student Edition. I'm Vidya here from UiPath Student Developer Program team, and I will be your host for today's session. Today's session focuses on studio web training led by Mukesh Kala, who is 5 times UiPath MVP and certified RPA solution architect and trainer. With 2 million YouTube views, he has been helping professionals and business growth with hyper automate and agentic tools. Currently, he leads as hyper automation practice head, bringing deep expertise in RPA and AI. So let's learn from his expertise and dive deeper into building automation with Studio Web, a skill that is vital for your hackathon journey. Over to you, Mukesh.
Great. Thank you for the introduction, Vidya. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
And I am just sharing my screen. So let me know if you're able to see that as well.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining the session. And Vidya has already given me a good introduction. So, thank you for that. So, feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. I have shared my QR code on the screen. You can just go to LinkedIn and search Mukesh, and happy to be part of your network so that at any point of time, if you have any problems, feel free to reach out to me. Okay. So with that, today we are going to discuss about this agenda, right? So for many of you, you might be absolutely beginner to this technology. You don't have to worry about all of this. At the end, we would be having a good enough idea of all of this, right? So let's get started with something very basic. Okay. So for example, let me take any of the chat people. Okay. So I see the last one is Anushri. Okay. So let's say Anushri joins a company. Okay. And what happens is that the firm give her work. Now, it can be any one of you for that matter, right? So you join a new company, you are doing something for your work, right? So there was a new company, you come to the company, and the client or the customer says that you have to do these different tasks, such as you have to daily go to a website, you have to download the data, you have to rename the files, and then send it on the email. That is your job. Okay. There is a next guy, let's say Sricharan, whose job is that he has data in an Excel, and you have to just fill the application which is available online, and you just have to do a copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. It could be something like you have a data where you have to fill a lot of forms online, right? Since this is your first job, you are very happy, everything is going well. But just imagine if you have to do this on daily basis, absolutely mundane and repetitive work, right? So you don't have anything else to do, you just have to do this thing, and after some time it would be like, guys, this is very repetitive task, I'm not learning anything new, and this does not is I am not feeling any value here because this can be easily done with by anyone, right? And it does not require any skills or any expertise. Now just imagine as an individual, if you are doing this, just imagine from a company or an enterprise point of view that how much of this mundane and repetitive work would be there in companies. A lot of that, right? That's where this awesome technologies come in picture, which is called robotic process automation, right? Now, what exactly is automation? So, whatever today you are able to do with the help of keyboard and mouse, you have a robot which is doing the task for you. And to build that robot, we use something which is called automation. In other words, robotic process automation. Now, whenever I say robots, right, a lot of people confuse it with the walking and the talking robots we see in the movies, Jarvis, Iron Man kind of stuff. No, when we talk about automation specifically with UiPath, we are talking about software robots which is running inside your computer. So it's like hiring a personal assistant, and whatever you are doing mundane, repetitive, you just give those tasks to that assistant or to that robot, right? That is what an automation is. Now, how it can help? It eliminates the repetitive task. So whatever you are doing repetitively, daily, weekly, monthly, can be given to the robot so that you can focus on the work which is important for you. Now, whenever I talk about this technology to people, right? So they are like, Mukesh, is this going to replace the humans? The answer to that question is no, right? Because you will still need humans to do the creative task, to take the decisions, to analyze the situation that robots cannot do. So what we are giving the robots is the mundane repetitive tasks. Handle it yourself so that I am free to do the work which I am interested to. And at the end, it gives you more energy, more power to live a productive life. Now, how it is a game changer, why it is so important. So it can actually change the way today the business and individual are operating. So as an individual, you are doing a lot of mundane repetitive tasks. So for example, let's take an example. Today you have to buy, let's say, iPhone, right? Before purchasing the iPhone, you would like to go to Flipkart, you'll go to Amazon, you will go to, let's say, Chroma, Reliance Digital, and then you will find that where I am getting the best deals, which card and all is applying, and then get an answer, right? So basically, if you analyze this thing, for one task we are going to four different pages. Next day you have a different product, you do the same thing. How about I write an automation where I give just the product, it goes to all the four websites, scrapes the information and show it to me that, hi Mukesh, the cheapest is available on this website at this price with this card. I'm done. Take an example of flight booking, right? Today you have to go from one destination to another and you want to book flights. What do? You go to this place, that place, give that itinerary. How about I just give the input? There is something, a code or execution happening in the background, and it does. The best part is, as a human, I can do human errors. I was supposed to travel on 12th. I made it, instead of 12 June, I made it 12 July and I booked everything. But the robot won't do that, right? Robot are like the software code. They do the instruction, and that way you can get much more better results. The best part, right? I told you that, guys, do my booking. And you're like, no, I was busy. It was weekend. I had a holiday. I had a fever. Robots work 24 cross 7. They are scalable. When I say scalable, it can easily work on multiple machines. All of that will come in the sessions, but yes, they can run 24 cross 7 without getting tired and will provide the same accuracy, right? How it can help you as an individual. Job satisfaction. If you are at a job, it will give you a job satisfaction that you are doing something important. It is an important skill to be added. It has good opportunities, and then if you're doing something creative, you are less stressed, right? And for companies, if you think it from enterprise point of view, why would a company invest in such automation technologies? Because first of all, it save them the cost, improve the accuracy, right? Because it is more accurate, increase the efficiency, compliance simply means that if I uh, give you a database of students, right, which is having all their information, their marks and everything, and I tell you that, okay, don't go and look into that information because it is personal, confidential. And then someday what happens that you go and you look into that information, right? So but if I give this information to robot, if I don't teach the robot that don't go to this information, they won't go. So for companies, such use cases are there where it enhance the compliance. Scalability is a very good example which you can relate to, right? So for example, today there is a company which is, let's talk about colleges, right? Because you are college students, so you are able to relate. If I have to today onboard one student into one department, let's say BTech, so what happens? You would have a lot of joining formalities. I put a robot there, and now that robot is doing all the steps, right? Taking the documents, scanning it, putting the application, downloading the forms, files, sending an email, all of that is done by the robot. 1 year, what happens that the number of students increases from 100 to, let's say, 1000. Now what does the college or the university have to do? They have to hire more people, they would have to train them to fill up that and all of that, right? So it's taken care a lot of manual efforts. Now after next year, the 1000 drops down back to 100. Now you have extra stuff, you have extra staff, right? And then the work is changed and all those complications. If I would have just a robot, by just clicking, click, I can scale the robots up, and I can scale the robot on just in matter of, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes. You should be able to do all of this, right? That's why companies are investing in automations. What robots can do. Very plain basic example, but it is much more. Log into an application with your secure credentials. Move files from one folder to another folder. Database, scrape the data from the web, relate to Amazon and the Flipkart use case, connect to system APIs. When I say API, application programming interface, you have to get the data for the latest currency exchange, right? I want to know what is the rate for dollar versus, let's say, rupees. So I can write a robot, go to that service via API, fetch that information, put it and run other process. It can work with emails, forms, PDFs, Word file. It can go to your mailbox, download the attachment, extract the information, make some calculation, generate reports and email. All of that can be done by the robots. So that's it, right? That technology is called robotic process automation. In simple words, RPA. Okay, I'll take a pause. Did you guys like this technology and you are interested to learn more about it? Just comment down RPA in the chat so that I understand that yes, we are on the same page. And meanwhile, I'll just open the thing, right? Okay, I'll take all the questions uh, at the end just to maintain the flow, right? One question: how it is different from writing code? Good question, right? When you are writing a code, you have to do a lot of integration, a lot of automation. This is a low code. Karthik, your answer would be given when I actually go to the implementation. So I'll park your question for a while, right? I have seen that. Okay, great. I see a lot of RPA, so I see people are following up. Okay, now let's start with very next question. Okay, so now we understand that okay, this is an technology, this is RPA. We have to learn it, right? Now, to build the robots, I need something, right? So let me ask you a question. If today you have to paint on your computer, which application you use? Let's say you have to make a painting of a mountain, a tree, and a river, right? That's the classic painting we use. See, which application in your computer which you are going to use to paint that picture? Anything what comes to your mind, just put it on the chat, right? If you have to draw, okay, Photoshop, Paint, Canva, right? These are the applications, right, which you use. Why didn't you say calculator or notepad, right? Because that application is meant for something else. So you understand that if I have something, I need a software to build that robot, automation, painting. If I say that, okay, make calculation, you will say that, okay, I'll do it with the Calci, calculator, online forms. I say that I have to make my resume. You would say that I would prefer maybe Microsoft Word. I can use PDF or maybe put it in the notepad, right? Something. Same like if I have to create automations, I need to use some softwares. And that software is called UiPath. So UiPath is a company which is a RPA company, which is the best RPA company. Again, you don't have to trust me. Go back to internet and search for which is the best RPA company, and you will get to the same answer, right? That's why we are here. And now the best part is previously when I started this automation journey, so I had a machine, and in that machine I had to install a software which was called UiPath, right? So I'll just minimize this for a while, right? And it was something like this. So this is a software. So same like you have Excel, Word, PowerPoint, we have something which is called UiPath Studio, where you actually write the code. When I say write the code, I use this to build application and all. Now, over a period of time, what happened was a lot of developers started getting that, okay, it has dependency, it needs, let's say, X GB of RAM and all the system configuration. And then there was a different set of users who were like, hey guys, we are on the Mac thing and we are not able to utilize this thing. And then some students, or I would say some guys came that I'm not able to install application into my computer or into my office computer or into my computer lab or something, right? That's where what UiPath has done is they have put this complete software into web, which means that I do not need any infrastructure today to build and run robots. You have access to internet, you have a computer, you have a browser, you're good to go. So This what you see on my screen is a desktop version of Studio, which is mostly used by the developers when they go to companies, enterprises, or you have a very complex use case. But for the people who are getting started, starting fresh, have small automation use cases, want to build for hackathons as you guys are building, we can go to the Studio Web, which is like the browser version of it, right? I'll tell you the differences of these things, right? But just to give you the background, whenever I say studio, I mean a place. Same like somebody said Photoshop Studio, right? You create that. This is the place. And then if I go to my browser, let me just open my browser. Yeah. Okay. So this is my browser. And if I go to a website, which is called cloud.uipath.com, I say enter, right? This is the place where you get everything. It's a free account. You just sign up and get everything. You will get all these details in the session. It's very simple, right? You just have to log into this website, cloud.uipath.com, and that will give access to this website. If you are interested to build things onto your desktop, same like this, you have this guy here which says download center, right? Where you can download this stuff. But let's say, as I mentioned, right? We are beginners. We don't want to go into that complex stuff. I want to start from browser. You can see here, start in Studio Web. Automate task online on any operating system, Mac, or Windows, right? Start it. No installation required. So you can click on this Studio Web. This same is also available on this 9 dots this side. You click on this 9 dots and you see here you have this guy which is Studio. Since I'm opening in on the browser, that is why this guy is called Studio Web, because it is available on the web, right? Same like this, you have something which is called UiPath Studio, which is there, which is my desktop version. And let me tell you one more interesting stuff. Whatever you build on Studio Web can be used in Studio. Whatever you build in Studio can be used in Web. So it is that compatible. So it's something like that you started building on your college, any machine, and then you save it. Then you came back to your home where you have the version of Studio. You just build it, because all of that is connected by the same email ID which you sign in, right? So I'm using my email ID, mailmukeshkala@gmail.com. You can use any of the ID, and then you will have access to this. All of this is connected, so interchangeably you can use. How cool is that, right? So that's where it is called Studio Web. So I can just go here and I click on this guy, which is Studio Web, and here it is. It will just fire up my studio. Let me just wait for it to load, and here it is, right? These are all my previous use cases or anything, whatever I would have done. But don't worry, this interface might look, you might be looking at it for the first time, but trust me, at the end of this session, you would be very comfortable with all of this. Okay. With that, let me go back to my presentation now. And here it is, right? What exactly is a Studio Web? As I mentioned, Studio Web is a cloud-based browser accessible automation development tool. It enables you to build and test cross-platform automation for the business users. All you need is a web browser with an internet, right? You can access it from any operating system. It requires no installation, no IT dependency, and it's always up to date. What does it mean? So if you have a software, it has different versions. You keep on updating. This is on web, always updated. You always have the latest and the greatest feature, right? Studio Web is a great starting point for your automation journey. Easy to use. You don't need any programming skills, right? Answer to somebody was asking, right? How different it is from writing code. For code, you need coding experience. Here, you don't need any coding experience. You just know what you have to do. Had a lot of AI features. You would be mind blown when I actually show it to you. But yes, it does not need any programming skill. It is an absolutely low code, right? When I say low code, guys, I'm not saying no code. Okay, I'm saying low code, which means that yes, you need to at least know what is integer, what is string, and that is expected when you're building applications, right? It's not a no code platform, it's a low code platform. Okay. Automation created in Studio Web are cross platform. They can run on Windows, Mac, and even on Linux robots, right? So that's Studio Web for you. If I talk about the features, cloud based, user friendly interface, drag and drop, seamless integration. This is important, right? I'll again answer the same question, that how different it is doing from the code. Okay. Today, let's talk about Python. You have to read your Gmail from Python, okay, or maybe from C Sharp, Java, or any of the programming technology you are doing. What you have to do? You have to create that connection, then you have to authenticate, you have to write code, open up the port, make sure that you are connected. Then let's say you have to read the emails, there also you have to do a lot of stuff. Let's talk about something else. Google Workspace. Today you have to read a sheet which is there in the Google Drive. Can I do it with the programming? The answer to that question is yes. But how much code would I have to write? I have to connect to a proper Google account, authenticate my programming, use the credential, log in everything. Here, in just 2 clicks, not even two, in 1 click, I am able to connect to all of this because UiPath as a company has a integration, native integration to these technologies. Microsoft, Google, SAP, Salesforce, which people can relate to, but it has a huge catalog. Even your Chat GPT, OpenAI, and Tropic, all of that is available for you to do this transaction. When I say transaction, send data, receive data. All you have to do is just put the things together, run it, and voila, you're ready, right? Cross platform AI and document processing. This guy is important, right? AI, everybody is doing AI. You know what is Chat GPT and all, right? We all are using. But what about enterprises? UiPath has been a master into this. We have tightly integration with automation, artificial intelligence, intelligent document processing, which means that it has capability to read structured, unstructured, semi-structured documents, handwritten PDF, handwritten documents, checks, bank checks, images, right? It can process everything, extract the information, and take the next actions. Some of the features of using Studio Web, right? And then this slide is important. You don't have to worry about everything, but you need to know that UiPath has different products, right? So don't get confused. UiPath Studio Web, which I just showed. UiPath Studio, which is a desktop application. It is uh, primarily Windows operating system, so that's why I'm using Windows. I have this, right? Then UiPath has one more product which is called UiPath Studio X. This is for the citizen developers. When I say citizen developer, people in the company who are not towards much of the technical side but do want to do their automation tasks like email automation, Excel automation, very limited small capabilities but do not require any coding. They can go for UiPath Studio X, which is again a desktop product available into the same UiPath Studio. So both of them are the desktop. This one is on the web, right? Who are the target users? Business users, citizen developers, and all. Automation capabilities with Studio Web, you can do API automation, web automation. You have integration to all of this. Wherever, when it comes to the Studio Desktop, which I was saying, right? You could do some advanced automation, right? I was mentioning Citrix automation, like VM, Citrix. All of that can be done here. We have more testing, more debugging. So whenever we create for enterprise level projects, we prefer UiPath Studio. But for the starting small projects, we can go with this. And again, both of them can work interchangeably. Integration wise, it has a huge set of integrations which are available. Document processing, it can support communication mining, document understanding, but here we have more. Compatibility wise, it is available on the web browser and both of them require Windows OS. Installation, no installation, best suited for quick automation, web based extraction, API and all. And this one is mostly for the complex scenarios, and Studio X is for doing the small tasks like Excel, web and all, right? So don't get confused. And for this one we are focusing on Studio Web. And with that, let's get started. What do you need? You just need organization. When I say organization, this is more related from a company point of view, but for a student, when I say organization, you just need a cloud.uipod.com account. Verify your username. Any browser will work: Chrome, Edge, Safari, Safari for Mac users. Enable the UI automation that I'll talk about when I'm doing something on UI automation. So basically you don't need nothing, you just need a browser, internet, and then we are good. With that, I'll take a pause. I'll just meanwhile open my other and I'm going to show some of the hands-on, right? So I'll take a pause, right? What do you guys think? Studio Web is good. You're interested. Sorry, interested. That's why you are here. You're excited to learn Studio Web or no, right? Just comment on maybe Studio Web. Yeah, or maybe yes, right? Yes, yes is a shorter word, right? Commenting Studio Web. Okay, yes is good. Okay, cool. So how? Okay, nice. Thank you guys for answering the chats, right? And let's get started with the Studio Web, right? So I'll just quickly repeat. You just need ancloud.uipath.com. Sign up with your ID, college ID, or your Gmail ID should work. Go here, and then you have this guy, which is Studio Web. Okay. Now, when first time you come to the Studio Web, okay, it will look something like this. Now, you have something here which is called workspace, because you need to know what is the things which are available here. So I'll not spend much time, but I'll just tell you what exactly are here, right? Workspaces, this is nothing but all the projects which you have worked. As you can see that I have worked on all these projects so that I can see all of it here, right? So this is a place where you can have your projects. You can delete, modify, edit, all of that can be done from here. And then for each of the project, you click on these three dots and you have some options here like duplicate, open in Studio Desktop. So I hope now you guys understand what is Studio Desktop, the other application. Delete, download, will again download it, and share, you can share it to the other people as well. Okay. Good part here is this guy, which is templates. All of these templates are pre-built automations for you, which you can get started with, right? Now, for example, today, I want to do something with, let's say, depending on the application, right? So whatever I'm going to use today, I will use Gmail, because I believe all of us have Gmail. I won't be using any enterprise applications like Outlook and all, because that requires some kind of license. So we'll start with Gmail, right? So for example, I want to take data from a new invoice from Google and store it into Google Sheets. So I have an invoice which is in my Google Drive. I have to download it, and then I have to process it onto the Google Sheets. Okay. Guys, is the audio uh, clear for everyone? Just double
Yes,
checking.
it is clear. It's clear, Mukesh.
Okay. Thanks. I just saw a comment, right? Okay.
Yeah, just replying to that comment, Mohammed, the recording will also be uploaded to the same program site, like the same session site. So you can check the recording also tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks, Kancham, for adding that. Okay, great. So guys, this is the template, right? So for example, you want to do all these tasks from here, Gmail, uh, this, Google Drive. These are the pre-built automations for you. All you have to do is just go and click on this and it will fire up. And you can see this tag automation. But what about you have a new requirement which is not there? Okay, let's do something. And if you scroll down, guys, by the way, you have here some items which you can put filters on, right? All of this is there. But at the top, you has a very interesting stuff, which is like generate with autopilot. Use autopilot to generate your automation. Yes, definitely, I can write my own automation. But as I mentioned, you can actually use AI. In yeah, autopilot is a product of UiPath. Again, same like we have Studio Web, we have a product which is called autopilot that help you to do all this related stuff, right? And the best part, you don't have to pay for any credits or anything. All of that is taken care by UiPath, right? Credits, when I say, people who use Chat GPT, right? You have to, you have credits, you need to have enterprise accounts, all of that taken care by UiPath for you. Let's see this. Use autopilot to generate your automation. Okay, assuming that today you have to write an automation, okay, and I want you guys to put it on the chat, right? And let's start with Gmail. Okay, let's say you have a Gmail mailbox where you have attachment, you can send an email, you can receive emails, and you can do a lot of things with your email mailbox, right? If I ask you guys, right, give me one problem statement today currently which you want to do with Studio Web. and you don't know anything about automation, right? But I'm sticking to Gmail because Gmail is what everybody have, right? So let's talk about Gmail. So you have a Gmail. In the Gmail you can send, receive email. So it could be something like read all the emails from Mukesh Kala and download the attachment. You can something like download all the PDF attachment from my Gmail. It could be something like send an email to my friend wishing him a happy birthday, right? What problem statement comes to your mind if I ask you to only use Gmail, right? Any problem statement. Let's see. And we'll try to generate the same thing from here, right? Okay. Short email from Google Classroom and add important events to Google Calendar, sending notification regarding the events to all the college students. Okay. So these are the kind of automations idea which you have got. I just mentioned one application, right? Just imagine if I have, see, short rejection and acceptance emails, right? Good use case. Sending certificates. Okay, cool. So all these are your ideas, guys, and you can build on top of this your solution. But let's take very simple. Today I am using Gmail and I have to, let's say, read all the subject. Okay, so I want to know who have sent me emails. So I would say read my emails from Gmail and maybe let's say download the attachments. Plain English, right? uh, Somebody has shared sending certificate, right? Sending certificates might not be here because certificate is something very generic word, right? So you would have to write uh, send an email to certain persons by attaching a file and in brackets say certificate, right? This is a prompt, right? Same like we give it to the AI and then I say generate with autopilot. I have not given any information. All of this is now loading here and it is saying that I am creating your automation and it has created my automation for me. Manual trigger, which means that I will manually run the automation, which you would have got an idea that today I am running it manually, but you always has an option to schedule this. Run it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. For example, taking off Tejaswi's example, right? She says that I want to send certificate. Every month I'm doing some training in my college and I want to send certificate. I create a robot and I want to run it on every last day of the month. I can schedule it. On daily basis, I want to go to internet and read all the news about AI and deliver that news back to my email box. I want to go to internet, get all these prizes, run it. Run that robot every time, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. We can schedule the automations as well, right? Next for something for the upcoming session. I am good with it. If you want to change, you can change it here and I just say continue. And here it is. My automation is ready. It has given me that automation. Now, coming to that question, right? As of now, this is connecting to my Gmail. It has to read the Gmail. But did we tell it which Gmail account? Your Gmail is different. Let's say Karthik Gmail is different. Sahil's Gmail is different. How would this guy know which Gmail to read? For that, we have to authenticate our applications. And that's why we say it as a low code. It's just asking me, Mukesh, okay, I'll go to for each email in your Gmail, right? Which means that for each of the email which is in your Gmail, I will get the data for you. Now, which Gmail? I never told, right? Which Gmail? So it says connect to the Gmail. And now let's see what happens. It's connecting. And then all I have to do here is go here and I say connect. Okay. I have two accounts of my Gmail. Which account you want to use? I am going to use this one, which is tutorials by Mukesh Kala, which is also my YouTube channel account. I just go and click on that and you would see that it is asking that you want UiPath to give access and I say continue. Important thing to realize, I did not share my password and I am now connected to Gmail. See, tutorials by Mukesh Kala is connected. That's it. I'll take a pause. I am connected to Gmail. Now, people who have already experience in coding, Java, .NET, C Sharp, Python, right? Can I do this thing with Python? Yes, absolutely. But what about the coding time which I have saved? Do you guys see the value which I get? Right? I just clicked on that. And the same thing happens for Excel, databases, SAP, Salesforce. You just have to click, connect the account, and that's it. All of this credential, everything is taken care by UiPath for me. I just have to tell what to do, what not to do. All of that thing is taken care. I'll take a pause. Do you guys find it interesting or valuable, right? Just comment down yes. Then I can move to the next one to show you more interesting stuff. Super. Right? By just clicking on this, I was able to connect to it, right? But again, you don't have to trust me, right? It might be a different account. Let's go to the Gmail. Let me just open it here, right? I don't want to expose any other email which I don't want to. So I'll just open it here, switch the account to my other account, which is this, and tick, 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 tick. Okay. So here, and I can close this one. Okay. So this is the same account, right? Tutorials by Mukesh Kala, and which is the same account, right? And this is my channel account I just created, right? I have this emails, right? And now let's go here and try to see that I am connected to this account. I hope a lot of people would have understand this, right? In your mailbox, you can have different folder, inbox, sent items, blah, blah, blah. You can click here and see exactly the same folder which I have there. I can read it from here, right? Additional filters, right? Add condition has the word BCC, CCC, from, subject, labels, right? If I have to ask you guys, right, you are looking this interface for the first time. But if you have to write an automation where you say that the subject should be this and the attachment should be this, it should be from this. So can you guys write the conditions here? Maybe just comment down conditions, right? So that I understand that yes, you are seeing that how low code this platform is, right? If I have to ask you guys that you have to write condition based on your requirement, and by the way, there is and or also, and or, that if you want both the condition to be true, you can use that. If you want them or, all of your engineering concepts, right, and or are here, right? And that's it, right? So that you can just use the filters here. It will do that. You have the additional properties. See, again, you are looking this for the first time. Okay, I'll just ask a quick question. What do you think this would be? Limit email to first 100. Anyone, you can just put in the chat, right? What do you think this would be? Limit email to first 100. I am not expecting a right answer from you guys because you are looking it for the first time, right? But what do you think this thing is? See, number of emails you want to automate, right? With attachment, unread, check boxes for you. How cool is that, right? Select the first 100 emails. Select the first 100 emails where it is unread, no attachment, marked as important. Just play around the settings, right? And then you are good, right? So these are all the additional setting which you can do here. Just relate it to your other programming things where you have to do these things on your own. How much time would you take? That's the power of this technology, right? Now from here, download the email attachment, right? That's what we told. And then here is the email message. Which email message? So I say that current email. Download the email attachment from the current email. And in my mailbox, I had, I think, this second email, which is having some attachment, right? Automation first is having some invoice. Okay. It's from UiPath, the different course, right? So maybe I'll say that, let's see what I have the properties. Unread email is false with attachment only 2, and I don't want to go to the 100, so I'll just say top 10, right? And then filter by the file name, that's fine. And then the attachments, and that's it, right? And then to run this, you can just go here and say test on cloud, which is the testing field. I'll come to that. Or you can just go here and I say test step by step, and your automation is ready by just clicking, writing a prompt and getting back. And it will start that thing. It will go to that, and all of this will cover in a step-by-step manner, but you can see it is paused, so I can say continue because I'm testing it step by step, right? Successful, test step by step, testing, continue, and that's it. I'm done, right? You have this. Okay, somebody says, what is the download logs? We'll come to that. We'll come to that, right? But if you see here, how much automation I had to write? Very small automation, right? And it was able to do that. Now, let me show you one more interesting stuff, right? I'll close this for a while and then I'll show you how you can actually run it because we have not gone into those details. I came here, right? So we were at the workspace. We are at the template. So templates, you can start from this and you can click on it. It will give you workspace is nothing but the things which you created. Just now I created this open email attachment and download attachment, right? Now, that's what I was referring to. I started this on the web. Now I want to put it somewhere. I can just click on these three dots, open in Studio Desktop, and this solution will now open in my Studio Desktop. I can download, I can share. Let's say you are a couple of people working on the same project, you can share the projects among itself, right? So this is the workspace, this is the templates, right? What else we have? You have this guy which is installed locally. This is going to install the same thing and you can run it. Then there is one more thing here which you should know, which is called the manage access. This manage access is something for the admin, right? So for example, if you have other users which you want to provide access, you can also provide the access from here, which is called the manage access. Some of you might have use cases where you want to provide access to someone. So you have this guy here, which is the manage access. At any point of time you need help. So you have this guy here, which is this question mark, which is the help, and you have all this UiPath YouTube tutorials. You have the UiPath Academy. You will get the link. You can understand all of this better from there. Feedback and all. This is on this screen, right? But now let's go inside and see what we have got when you say create new. When I say create new, you will get this thing, app and agentic. We are parking for a while because that's kind of an advance. I'll go here and I say create a new workflow, right? And this is a plain workflow. Now, the first one workflow which I created was using those prompt, right? But not every day you would have a prompt. Sometime you would have something like where you want to start something very basic. So if you see here, these are all the integrations which UiPath has today. HubSpot, MailChimp, Microsoft 365, PayPal, SAP, Slack, Sugar Service, Zoho, Zoom, right? So all these are direct plug and play applications which are directly integrated to UiPath. You just have to click and it can start, right? So for now, let's say I am doing a very scratch automation. So I'll go here and I click on this one, which is the manual automation. Okay. And then if I have to write my own code, you have this plus button here because this is executing step by step. So manual trigger is I am going to trigger it manually. In next session, we are going to deploy it and run it from the schedule. But today we are going to do it manually. Then I click on this plus button. And then here it is something which is called add activity. What do you want to do? Extract the data table, read range, write range. If I want to do something with Excel, I can just search here Excel, and you would see all this Excel which is coming from Microsoft 365. Since you are using it on browser, you can use it from Microsoft 365 or the Google Workspace as well, right? Let's talk about something, let's say email, right? So I can just say and say send email. Now, when you want to send email, how do you want to send? You want to send it from Office 365, you want to send it from Google Workspace. Since I have already connected, so I use this Google Workspace, sending email, installing it, right? And you have this one. Now, if you see here, this has already taken my connection because it is already, I have connected into my next project, other project. If you want to change it, you have an option here to manage connection, or you can add a new connection to a different account, right? And then save as draft. No, whom do you want to send this email to, right? To primary recipient comma separated value. Let's say I want to send it to my other email id, which is mailmukeshkala@gmail.com, right? What do you want to write in a subject, right? So maybe I would say email from studio web session, right? And then what is in your body, right? All of this is like body attachment. So in the body, I would just say hello from the webinar, and that's it. And I can save this. You can have additional properties, write attachment, same like you have download the attachment, you can actually go and upload the attachment as well, right? And then you have here which says test on cloud, or you can say test step by step. So let's try to test on cloud. When you say test on cloud, this is going to run on UiPath Cloud, which is orchestrator, which we are going to cover next time. But you can see here, download completed, started, it is testing. At any point of time, if it is an error, you would be able to see, and it says execution started and ended in very less time, right? So let me quickly go to my mailbox, and uh, here you can see in my sent items, email from studio web session to tutorials by Mukesh Kala, hello from the webinar, right? This is the same email ID which I have done April 9, 6:51. Now, if I have to do the same thing with any other application, how much time would it take? Just imagine, right? Now here, what are the other things? I'll show you one more interesting stuff which I have parked for the last, right? Then you have something here which is test step by step, as the name suggests. Test on cloud, where you can directly test it on the cloud. Publish is like you can publish this project and you can run it directly from the server, right? We'll talk about that in the next session. Here on the right hand side, you have the project. So this file name is main.xaml, right? Same like you have different project file. In one project, you can have different separate modules, right? So let's say this one is for sending the email. You have one more file where you want to do something. So I can say click on this plus, I can say new workflow file. What do you want to do in this workflow? Let's say I want to uh, read from browser. Okay, I want to read from browser, browser. You can have a different file where you can say read from browser. One project can have different files. You can manage all of that here. Then this is your error panel. Any errors or issues will be available here. This is the change history. People who are aware from programming, we have git svn where you store the code. Since this is working on web, you have all these versions which are available here. You have this undo redo button here. On the right hand side of the screen, you have these four buttons, which is the share. To share it to your friend, colleague, anyone, you can just click on this. Then you have this properties panel where you can add additional properties, right? So as of now, these properties are seen here, but for a cleaner view, people have different preferences. So I can click here, and then all this property will be shown in the property panel. Don't get confused if you are watching some online tutorial and you see the properties here. That is just because they have changed the view from this to this, right? That I want to see properties here. Exactly the same thing, just a change in the view. Okay. Then you have this guy, which is the data manager. You have variables, argument, entities, and the connections, right? Connections, I have just connected to tutorials by Mukesh Kala to send an email. You have variables and you have arguments. Variables, same like you have why do we need variables, right? So when I have to pass the data from one activity to another activity, This is one activity, this is the activity. I use something which is called variables. Good part about Studio Web is all these variables are created automatically. You don't have to do anything. And you also can have arguments. So for example, when you want to pass the data from this guy to this guy, right? Some data is there as an input, which is there. You want to pass the data from here to here. You can use arguments. When you want to pass the data between the activities, you would have variables. So all of that is part of your course, which you can go and read more about it, right? Now, I told you that I have some interesting stuff to show it to you, right? And I think that would be interesting. I will go to one website, let's say RPA samples. It can be any website, okay? So this is a website which is called RPA samples, right? And if I click on any one of those, it has some password or something, right? With my UiPath, I can actually go and do some interactions on the browser as well. I can scrape the information, I can put the input, get the output, all of that is possible, right? Let's try to do that. So maybe I'll go and I'll close this one. Okay. So here into the read from browser, again a new XAML. This is my find unicorn and I want to type something on this, right? Let's say my automation has a requirement. I want to type something. I can just go here, click on this plus button. And what do I want to do? I want to type. So I just search here type and you can see here I have got a lot of items. You see here, this is UI automation. UI means user interface automation. I want to type, so I go here and I select on this one, which is UI automation, and it gives me all this thing. It has a form fill as well. So a lot of interesting stuff, right? So I say type into, it is installing the dependencies and all, right? But where I have to type, I haven't told anything. Which browser? I might be using Safari, I might be using Edge, right? It is going to ask me all of the details, right? So and I'll just move it to this properties only. Yeah, here it is, right? Work in scope. Select a tab to automate. You might have multiple different browser tab which you want to automate. I want to automate find unicorn name RPA sample. That's why I close the other browser, right? It has got the URL. It has taken the screenshot. Does it require authentication? If it is requiring username and password, you can toggle this to on, right? Then it says type into indicate target on the screen. Where do you want to type? So I say indicate target on the screen and I see point it to where I want to type. This my cursor, you see it has changed the thing. It's asking me where do you want to type. I want to type my name here. I can click on this, getting the target information. It will understand this complete HTML DOM structure. And then I just have to say here confirm. If I can also click on this guy, which is validate. So it's validating when the actually robot will run. It will click here. It's showing you. And then I just say confirm. And that's it. Now, if you realize here, UiPath is a different company. The browser which I am using is Edge, which is from Microsoft. And ideally, what we are trying to do is we are trying to put some information via scripting on Microsoft Edge. So first of all, Microsoft has to give me permission to put this thing onto my website. And that is why when you do it for the first time, you would have to install an extension. Same like you install extension from your for your YouTube, for your learning materials, right? We use some kind of extension. Torrent, for the people who are downloading it from torrent, you guys would know, right? We have to install some extension. So for that, I can just when you do it, if I already am doing it, so I have this extension. But if you are not have, UiPath will prompt you for install an extension. Don't get scared. It is just like you are giving access to it. And if you see on extension, you can see here UiPath extension for Studio Web is installed. That is why I am able to do this thing, right? So don't get confused if you get an additional pop-up. Okay. Now, what do you want to do here? I want to type a text which is called Mukesh, right? Type this Mukesh. And then after that, what do you want to do? So what would happen? It will come here, it will type Mukesh, and then I just go and click on this one, which is the click unicorn. on this button, which is the get unicorn, right? So what do you think? What should I search here? If I have to click on that button, I can go here onto the plus, and what do you think? What activity would be available in the studio web for me to click on that? Any random guesses? For typing, I use type into. Okay, everybody says click. Okay, let's try to do that. CLICK, click. Super, right? So we have the click. I just go here, select this click, and it will come. Then where do you want to click? It won't take the decision. I want to click on this one. Get the unicorn name. Confirm. That's it, right? After that, when you go here into this, you click on this, and then you have this name, delightful raindrop mist, something like that, right? So what do you want to do after that? After that, I want to get that, right? So I want to get the text. So I'll go here, add an activity. And the other thing is, if you're not sure what would be the activity, you can see everything by clicking on this UI automation, because we are doing the user interface automation. And you have all this: click, type into, select item. If you have a drop down, go to the URL, check and check if you have a checkbox, right? Navigate to the browser, hover, right? So I'm interested in getting the text. Get text. Again, what do you want to get? I want to get this guy, delightful raindrop mist. Okay, and I say confirm, and that's it, right? Now after that, let's say now this is one application. I want to send this name to my email, right? Because I have already connected to that. Now I'll show you how do you pass data from one application or one activity to another, right? It's absolutely simple. It's not a rocket science. You will be able to figure it out. So after that, I want to send an email. So I click on this plus and I say send an email, because this is the recently I have used. So I say send an email, then it is again loading the integration service. All of that is still there, right? Send as draft to false. Whom do you want to send? I say mail Mukesh Kala @ gmail.com, which is my other email ID, right? What is the subject? The subject is your unicorn name. Okay. And then now the important one. What do you want to put in the body? In the body, if you see here, you are getting this stuff, right? From the get text, which is this, right? You see it has a name, and by the way, you have an option to change it here. You can change it to, let's say, get text for unicorn name, right? Best practice, so that we are able to understand what it is doing, right? So you can change this as well like this, right? And it will reflect here. Now in the body, from the get text unicorn name, which is there, I want to print the text values. So I can just go here and I say text value, and it is able to print that. Now, if this workflow works as expected, what should happen? It should go there, put my name, get that value, put it on the email and send it back to you. Ravi has a question. Can I send it to multiple emails? Yes, Ravi, you just go here and put an other email ID. Same like you do on the email, you can just put comma and put other email IDs as well, right? Now, if this was as expected, what should happen? It should go to this website, fetch my name, the delighter name, and do it, right? But I would like to do it with some different name, right? Since Ravi has asked the question, so let's find it for Ravi. Hope Ravi, you don't mind. So I have just typed Ravi name here, and then I'm done with the automation, right? The best part here, when I am actually running this, you would be able to see what is happening directly, live stream, right? Let's see that. This is one of the best feature which I like. So I say test step by step, right? Now my hands are here, right? Okay, I just triggered on the main one, right? Okay, and then I say continue. Oh, okay. I just triggered hello from the webinar. My bad, guys. I need to run this one, right? Which is the read from browser, right? So I'll do this. I just click the other one. Okay, somehow I think I have, it's not going there. Maybe let me just here. Yeah. So right click. You can put this file into your main file. You see here, there is a small arrow. This is a project. In that project, you can have multiple files. This is the main file, which has all the code, right? So whenever I am running the automation, it is always running the main file. And this guy is a separate file. So what I can do is I can right click on this and I say that invoke in the current file. So which is this main.xaml. I'll just remove this one because we have already done it. So I'll just say remove. Okay. And this is my main.xaml. You see that small arrow. Then I right click on this and I say invoke in the current file. So what would happen? It will now invoke that code into my main file, right? That's why it was not working. That's the whole purpose, right? And now I just go here and I say test step by step. Main file is the file which is going to run every time. And then I just connected both the files by invoking it, right? And you can see here it says connecting to the live stream. Okay, I say continue. Now whatever, since both of these are the browser application, you can see here into this small browser window, it is going to do the automation and it was successful. It was so fast, right? But when it is a bigger application, you can actually go and see what is the robot doing. And then if I see my logs, you would see here it was successful, everything was done. You can download the logs, you can filter by info, warning, fatal, everything. And if everything would have worked as expected, I should have received an email with Ravi's, I would say, unicorn name, which is this. See? So Ravi, my friend, this is your unicorn name. Daffodil, snowflake, dream. Hope you like that. So that's how you can actually write automation. Now, just think about it, right? I started with main, I read the file from browser, you got that daffodil name here. Now, after that, that daffodil name or something, you want to put it into a database. You want to put it into Google Sheets, right? Let me show you one more interesting stuff, right? Uh, I'll go to maybe, let me just quickly see which account I'm logged in. Okay, Google Drive. Okay, I'll just switch the account. So here it is. This is my Google Drive, right? And I have all these data which is available here, right? Excel spreadsheet and all those stuff which is available here, right? I can go to my this one and maybe I'll create a new workflow file. And I just wanted to show you that how easy it is to work for Drive and what is the benefits you get, right? So I can add an activity and I say Google Drive, right? And you see that all the things which you are getting from copy file, create a folder, apply this, get file and folder, right? Read this, create spreadsheet into the Google, all these things, right? So let's say, I'll just say Google Workspace, and for Google Workspace, all these activities which are available, self-explanatory, create a spreadsheet, everything, right? So let's try to create a spreadsheet, or maybe let's do something else. Read range, right? I want to read the data from Google's workspace, right? So I put that activity here and it has by default connected to that same workspace. Now the interesting stuff. If you see here into the spreadsheet, into my drive, it will take some time to load. Okay, maybe I'll just do a quick add new connection. It might be connected to a different workspace, but the concept is same. I just go and I say connect. Which Google Sheet you want to connect? I want to use by this account. I say continue, continue. Okay, integration is loading, connected, right? And then here, uh, okay, it's loading. Yeah, see, this is the thing which I was about to show, right? If you will see into my actual Google Drive, I had these files: data, Q&A corner, IS data, question answers, quiz, something related to my previous sessions, right? All of these files are available for you here as well. So all I have to do is just go here and read the data, save. So it's that low code. You just have to make the connection, do this, right? And then what do you want to do with the data? I want to read the data. I want to iterate it. It can be as simple as that, right? That you have an Excel sheet, which is some kind of data, which is available here. Okay. And from here, you have extracted this URL and you want the robot to go here. This Excel can have the student mark sheet data where you can just go and you can ask the people to just uh, read the certification data and send it, right? And then you can create automations. Same like I was able to read the data from the browser, you can actually read the table data. You can go to any website, read all the data, scrape the information, put it in the Excel, send it in an email, send it as a link. All of that is your implementation, right? But you just need to know what are all the activities and things which are available and how you can actually process with that. Okay, so that was the session about Studio Web. We will share you this recordings and these links, but lastly I would be also sharing you one document which is something like this, that how do you publish an automation. It's very simple. I can just open that. I'll show it to you, but you will have it with you. So you can see here, how do you publish an automation? You click on this guy, which is publish. Where do you want to publish? Select the feed and you just click on publish and it would be deployed, right? So this are all the steps. This is a PDF document which I'll share. The second one is, somebody was asking how do I share the project? So this is how you share the project. You can click on share, find the person name, you can click here, provide the name, and it would be shared to that user, right? So these two PDFs would be available for you to work upon, right? And that is it for today's session, right? Now what I want you guys to do, your hackathon is coming, right? You are preparing for that hackathon. With all this knowledge, think about the use cases which you can build. It can be something related to invoices, colleges. You can build something for certificates. You can come up with use cases. You can also integrate it with AI. Today, I haven't shown you anything of AI. It was plain RPA. In the next upcoming sessions, I'm going to show you how you can put AI on top of it. That would give you much more power, right? So we'll discuss about the use cases, but start thinking about the use cases which you want to build. And with that, I'll give the sessions to Vidya. Any more questions if you have, guys, post it on the chat.
Uh, Thank you, Mukesh. Uh,
Okay, before I answer, right, do
Once,
you guys find this session helpful? Just say maybe yes or no. Right? Was this helpful? You guys find this interesting? Great. So for all the yes, I would see you in the next session.
Yeah, Mukesh, we have also launched a poll or a
Okay.
quiz kind of feedback thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone should be able to see a quick poll or quiz coming up. So go ahead and give your feedback there directly. Okay. Yeah, Vidya, over to you.
yeah, give me a second. Yeah. Before we wrap up this session, I hope you all enjoyed this session. And this session was designed to equip you with like full of confidence and skills to participate in the national level hackathon. You guys can go ahead and apply for register for the hackathon here. And to know more about the hackathon, you can go ahead and register for the upskilling sessions on this link. And there is also an opportunity to become a student developer champion. If your college already doesn't have one champion, already have a champion, you guys can go ahead and register for the program. Here is the link to apply. And thank you so much, Mukesh. And I hope all of you have gained something from the session. Thank you so much. See you in the next session.
Yeah. Meanwhile, before we wrap up, if there are any questions, go ahead and ask the
Yeah,
questions.
I
Yeah, 1 second. We are
yep.
allowing anyone to unmute themselves. Please raise your hand. We will take the questions in the same order. So please raise your hand. If you have a question, then you'll be able to unmute yourself and you'll be able to ask the question. Any questions? No. I think it was clear, Mukesh. Wonderful.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Great.
So for everyone, please register for the next session. Next session is on Friday, and that is on Orchestrator. If you go to the websites which Vijay had shared, you will be able to register for that session. And followed by on Saturday, we are also going to have a hands-on session. It's a 2-hour session. It's a working session. So get your laptops, be ready for working along with Mukesh on generative AI concept. So see you all on Friday and Saturday. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, go to the website. We have a support email. You can send us questions. We would be happy to answer. And the recording will be available by tomorrow. Today's session recording will be available by tomorrow. No, the recording sessions will not be through mail. So you need to come to the same page where the session was hosted today on the community page. You will be able to see. But once we update the recording link there, you should receive an email saying that the recording is up. So that will kind of give you a cue to come and watch the recording. Perfect.
Okay, great. So I think we are good, Gancham. Then thank you all for your time and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.